Guys, it's alive. Now, I really wanted to make this video on Sunday, but I was really sick due to lack of sleep. And unfortunately, I've taken that as an excuse to skip one more day as well. So last week, I only managed to do one update. I actually wanted to do two, but that is not an excuse. I am very tempted to continue building in silence because that's just the default way I am. But it is time to do some public documentation. So before we begin, right, Mio is live right now. You can try for free with 100 credits. As long as you have an account, you will get 100 credits. How long that's going to last you? That's going to last you one good long conversation with the AI coach. And so right now, I'm just gonna like this video is gonna be a Vidoc. We're gonna talk about where Neo is at right now. I'm gonna give you a tour of it. I'm gonna explain some known problems. I'm gonna share with you the vision of it over the next immediate future. I'm gonna explain like basically what happened, and I'm gonna share with you guys some very important lessons that I've learned about vibe coding. That perhaps if you guys are doing your own vibe coding, you can learn from it. So let's just start. Okay, I'm gonna log out. So first of all, some tour. As you can see, I built this new landing page. This is built via Manus, and then I ported it over to Replit. So I put a lot of thought into the design, and you can see like this. Here's the sign in button. It's become more. You guys can go and check it out. Okay, it's a really beautifully done website. Normally, I don't do this kind of thing. It even have this simulation on how basically show, not tell, show how Neo conversation is, and basically what is the problem that we're trying to solve, what is the vision, the roadmap, how it started, what is already live, what is currently being planned, what is currently being built, and so on and so forth. There is no call to action yet because I still haven't included it, but yeah, this is something that you can go and read through if you're interested. Now, when you click on sign in, it will have this nice little matrix data fall effect, and basically we are all gonna be signing through Google account. So I've already signed in, and this device remembers my Google Docs Google account, so it wouldn't bother asking me for permission again. But basically now we are signed in right now, and we have all these cool little things here. This is as per usual. You will have your star projects, your whatever not, new chats and stuff like that. This thing here, all right, this thing will change every time you load the page. As an example, like if I click on this, ground ambition, if I click on reload again, open curiosity. So this is not just a normal placeholder. These placeholders are based on whatever you taught Neo about yourself. And how does Neo learn about you? Neo learns about you through conversations, and I'm very excited to explain how that works and the kind of problem that other memory systems have that Neo will not have. So if I collapse this sidebar right here, all right, if I collapse this sidebar right here, there is a right panel over here that has this memory, knowledge, log, learning. Over here, this is the normal chat environment, and you will be able to toggle between three different modes. You have the assistant, which is the typical AI mode, very friendly, very helpful, and then you have the consultant mode. The consultant mode will ask you one very targeted question at a time, and it's gonna give you options to choose from. So the consultant is meant to help you be a thinking partner, help you do some work that requires thinking. Whereas assistants very helpful for just doing tasks and answering questions. So I am not a big fan of using assistant mode. I'm a big fan of using consultant and or coach. So coach is where the hard questions come. Right. So the all of the nice cool stuff that you saw in the homepage earlier, where where Neo becomes your sparring partner, he will challenge you, he will ask you hard questions. That is where the coach comes in. So if you guys are not needing any form of coaching, if you're not in the mood to get coaching, please don't use the coach mode. You're gonna get very frustrated because if you ask Neo the question, Neo will be like any good coach, will not answer your question. It will ask you the question right back. So that is being the mirror. So if you're having some sort of dilemma, decision problems, big internal issues that you need to work through, you need a breakthrough. You need a different way of thinking, different perspective. If you know that you have some limiting beliefs or some mental blocks around some problem, consistency issues and whatnot, use the coach. If you don't have that issue, if you have knowledge gap, if you have skill issues, use the consultant. Next, you have this thing over here, these 4 different nice little buttons here. When you open, I'm going to start with learning. This part here, learning, if you guys, at any moment in time, if you're not clear what this is, there's always this button that says info. If you hover your mouse, so there's a tooltip that says what it is. Basically, this part here, all right, whatever you tell Neo in this chat right here, this is a separate chat from this main chat. And this is when you toggle this open when you want a separate chat outside of your main chat, because sometimes you're working through something over here. Oh, I just realized that my face is in the way. My face is in the way. Okay. So if you are, this is the learning panel, right? So if you are having a conversation in this main conversation right here, and you don't want whatever you're telling it to contaminate this conversation, you can open up this learning panel right here. And you can just tell it stuff. So like as an example over here, it says, I love pineapple. Would you like me to remember that you love pineapple? I say, yes. I propose to remember. So if I say, okay, I live in Malaysia. And earlier, Neo remembers me as living in India. I don't live in India, but Neo remembers me as living in India. But now I'm saying that I live in Malaysia. If I press enter, and it's gonna remember, hey, earlier you said that you have a conflict, right? It says, oh, here I see there's conflict information about your location. Previously, it was noted that you moved to India. Could you please clarify if you have relocated to Malaysia? Yes, I have relocated to Malaysia. And there you go. You will see, okay, I've proposed to update your location back to Malaysia. So conflict detected, user has relocated to Malaysia. Existing was user has moved to India. So I can get the option of keeping new or keeping old. I'm going to click on keep new. When I click on keep new, the card is going to disappear and it's going to say memory save. You'll be able to see all the different memory saves over here. Like when they say click on memory, it is organized by 7 different categories: profile, work, like over here it says user has relocated to Malaysia. Profile, work, writing style, goals, beliefs, domain knowledge. Domain stands for domain knowledge, and relationships. So these information are contextually retrieved to inform Neo about about how to respond to you in the normal conversations that you have over here. But you will still be able to use this normal conversation. As an example, I run a program called a client acquisition called AI Client Factory. So if I just do like this and press enter, after a while, once the conversation is underway, one memory is going to appear over here and it says review. You see that? One pending suggestion. User runs a client acquisition program called AI Client Factory. It can accept or reject. So we can do that too. So I'm going to accept that. And once I accept that, it's going to add that to save under work over here. Okay. So that is under memory and review. So whatever that is in conflict. So the beauty of doing this is that like in a typical AI conversation, AI tool that you're using, the AI indiscriminately just capture all the information about you. And that is a problem because like if I say that I'm in India and then I say that I'm in Malaysia, which data does the AI use to respond to you, right? So the answer is it doesn't. Most of the time, the AI, the memory system is actually broken. It's just that most people don't even realize that it's broken. So the developers are just claiming that it works, but it actually doesn't really work. One truth, in the development of the landing page that I showed you just now, I was using Manus. Manus has this memory system called knowledge. I save about 100 I saved 100. Yeah, I think I maxed out the entire knowledge library. 30 of that was basically in a explicit instruction saying that I don't want the AI to move ahead unless I say so. And guess what? Manus completely ignored that memory. It does not use that to inform its output whatsoever. And when I interrogated Manus about it, um, uh, basically they were using RAG. So I have to explicitly say something about remember this, then only Manus will remember. But when you're using Neo, you don't have to do that. Neo will always remember uh, the context about you. So if I say hi, you see that? Hi there, how are you settling into Malaysia? What brings you here this morning? It remembers exactly what has happened. It even remembers that it is morning. So Neo knows. That is the basic vision of it, right? So right now, this is where we're at right now. And then there's also knowledge. I'm working on knowledge right now. Google Docs are actually not connected. This is actually a uh, because right now I realized that while I was building this, Google need to do some verification on my company and also my app to make sure, because we're gonna be handling sensitive data, we need to pass some compliance checks, which is gonna take about 1 to 2 months time. So while that is underway, I'm working on a different form of importing of Google Doc, which I will not reveal here, but I'm working on it right now with through Replit. So it's gonna be a certain form of architecture. And unfortunately, my cat chose this exact moment to make noise. So if you guys hear some cat, please excuse me. All right. So I'm working on that right now. So basically, all you got to do is just click on that, click on import Google Doc. You're going to need to paste in your public URL for your Google Doc. I mean, we are using that as like a sort of temporary measure until the Google Docs are fully connected. And there's also a lot of work that is needed to be done in the back end in terms of the RAG architecture, in order for it to match Claude's level. But I'm working on it. But that is, I'm working on it right now. So log is very exciting because there are all of these different, like you can see, like develop dashboard feature specifications, October 15 to November 4, and etc. etc. So what happens over here? So Neo knows the time, and if you ask Neo what's the time right now, it's gonna know about it. And if let's say you are in the middle of conversation and you return to that same conversation 1 week from now, Neo is gonna know that okay, 1 week has elapsed. And over here, what I'm trying to do with this log here is to help Neo have contextual and chronological understanding of what has been happening throughout the evolution, through the journey of this particular project. So if some developments happen in this project, Neo is going to know about it. So you don't have to keep repeating yourself. So all you got to do is when you're having a conversation, after it reaches a certain point, whatever the certain point is, all you got to do is just click on this this plus button right here. And it's gonna prompt to create an interaction log. When you create a log, it's gonna create a log over here. So like over here, strategies for managing work stress, and it has the context of previous logs, recent development, key points discussed, blah blah blah, all of the cool stuff. So this is basically where we're at right now. So having said that, there are some known problems. My RAG, like Neo's RAG, is nowhere near what I am used to. So as an example, right, I categorize the development of Neo's RAG into 3 different stages. Stage 1, Stage 2, Stage 3. So can I zoom in? Yes, I can zoom in. All right. Stage 1 is basically, I call it Neo never forgets. So it's basically what you saw just now. Like if you tell something to Neo, then the reason why Neo never forgets is because Neo doesn't use Neo use a certain RAG for the memory system, but the kind of RAG that Neo uses follows a certain algorithm, a certain logic that I created with the AI. And what it means is that it will know how to retrieve the exact most important context for this particular conversation that you're having, and it's injected directly into the user input. So Because of that, Neo is not gonna forget. Like this is not something that typically a developer would want to do because most AI SaaS company is run by subscription, and doing this is more expensive than if they were to just promise unlimited stuff. Because most people is not gonna notice this anyway. But my users, you guys who are part of my community, we have a little bit. We are quite a bit of a snob, right? So we demand quite a lot from our AI. So for that reason, I want to make sure that like stuff like this, the important details, the AI always remembers. So whatever you tell Neo in terms of what is your writing style, what is the work that you do, who are your relationships, what are your beliefs, what are your values, what frameworks you use. When you tell Neo those things specifically, Neo never forgets. And so basically that's number one. Stage two is basically when it's basically Neo, what is it called again? Neo never forgets, Neo knows. Neo knows. So what Neo knows is that uh we are we are reaching a certain point at stage two where Neo's RAG architecture is equal to that of Claude's architecture. I love Claude. The reason why is because when you're talking to Claude, right? You don't have to mention specific keywords in order for Claude to understand what exactly to retrieve, which makes it so that Claude feels very smart. And in recent times, like what one of the things that really forced me to create Neo is because it feels like that part of Claude is becoming less reliable. So right now, I want to make it so that the experience. I think that there's something that Anthropic did behind the scenes to try and save up on compute or save up on API calls. I do not know. But one of the things that I come to realize running AI Client Factory and serving my clients is that we have no control over what Anthropic is doing, and because we have no control over what Anthropic is doing, it feels like it's not really smart for me to keep on like relying on them to make sure that they are not, like letting go of the ball. So that is basically what I'm trying to do over here. So stage two, right, is like if you upload stuff into the knowledge base, right? If you upload stuff, anything over here, as long as you upload stuff, as long as it doesn't hit the limit, it will not forget. It will not only that it will not forget, it will be able to pull up the exact most important context to inform its outputs based on the knowledge base. So right now it's just memory. Right, memory is a little bit not the capacity isn't that great, but when you start putting in up your your knowledge files, right, you will be able to know exactly what to pull in order to inform its stuff. Stage three is Neo never misses. Neo at stage three is for me is like the ultimate final form of RAG architecture. It's the Rolls Royce, is the Ferrari, it's the Bugatti Veyron of RAG architecture. And the reason why I say that is because it is something that is expensive. It is if you are doing a unlimited subscription based kind of thing, it makes no sense to do so. But for something like Neo, for the users of Neo, it's completely different story. We are people who are willing to pay. We are people who, but we are willing to pay, but we demand a lot in return from the AI. And that's the reason, that's the entire reason why Neo is based on credits, not subscription, because you pay what you get. So at stage three, right, if you say something today that contradicts what you said 5 years ago, Neo is going to question you about it. Neo never misses a beat. Like, and you can carry a conversation for days, one conversation, 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day, and you can carry this conversation for like one whole week, and Neo will never forget what is the first message that you send it in that one conversation. No limits, no context compression, and it's still able to like never skip a beat, never miss. So that is basically the stage three, and in order to make it happen, right? I have some theories as to how this can work. It will involve multi-model, multi-agent reasoning. All right, that basically pulls context and sort of not just filter, but the agents gonna need to talk to each other in order to make this happen. So I haven't yet tested out this theory, but I do have some theory. I already have it written down. But right now the most important thing is make sure that Neo is up and running and stage 2 is up and running. So basically, that's kind of like the vision of where we're at right now. So there has been a lot of things that has happened over the past couple of days, and just kind of like basically walk you through it to share with you guys, my community, what has been happening over the past 13, 12 days. I've been stuck in deployment hell. No, not 12 days. For 10 days, I was stuck in deployment hell. Like, I was using Replit, and as you guys know, my initial stack was Vercel, Supabase, GitHub, and Google Auth. And I converted everything to Replit because my old developer left. And the new developer was on leave. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna like try, even if I can't make a lot of progress, I'm gonna try to do a little bit of progress on my own. My cat just like, Pancake, what do you want? What do you want, Pancake? What do you want? He's just staring at me. Okay, cool. All right, so I was forced to do it by myself, and I'm actually really glad I did, because we made a lot of progress. And in 3 days, I made more progress in 3 days than I did in 10 months with humans, which is great. But there were a lot of beginner mistakes that I didn't realize I was doing at the point in time. I was busy adding stuff, I was busy debugging, and we made a lot of progress, but I didn't try to deploy it. And that was a mistake, because the more I didn't deploy, the more the technical debt started to accumulate. And when came the time to deploy, it just wouldn't work. It just kept stuck at the bundling stage and so on. At the building stage and the bundling stage, I ended up having 2 experts, and it didn't work. One expert just ghosted me for 1 day. Another expert who promised me that he can fix it in 4 days basically didn't do anything. And it was a very fortunate thing. Like, one of my subscribers who saw my email talking about this thing, like, he came in clutch. He totally helped. He sent me an email, said like he's gonna offer. He basically a SaaS founder. Let's call him Mr. Veteran from now onwards. He's basically a SaaS founder, and he said that, hey, Felix, I noticed that you're facing this issue. Would you like some help with that? And we got him a call at 9 p.m. the following 9 p.m. that night. We got him a call 9 p.m. that night. And at 1 a.m., he sent me this email. Good news, the app is published to production. You can redirect to meetneo.app domain directly. And he explained what has happened. I don't understand half the things he's saying, but basically, I asked the AI about it, and basically, there were too many unnecessary stuff in the box. So imagine we were trying to load a cargo into a container, and we can't load the cargo because the cargo is too big. The box carrying the cargo is too big, and it's too heavy. And we don't even know, and we've been like, the AI have been trying to diagnose the cargo, but the problem is not the cargo. The problem is what else is in the box together with the cargo. That's a basic analogy of what AI, like how the AI explained it to me. So that was solved the next day. He solved the 4-day problem in just 4 hours. No, not 4 day. At that point in time, it was already 6 days. He solved a 6-day problem that I was stuck in just 4 hours. Just goes to show the importance of having the right people on your side. I'm really fortunate that the guy happened to be my subscriber, and I really fortunate that I somehow has helped him through my content in the past, that he felt moved enough to actually help me. I would have still been stuck in deployment hell if it were not for him. So another problem is that the auth looks weird. So it's like, the next day, somebody sent me this. It's like, hey, like, this looks really weird. Like, is this yours? Can I trust this? As you can see, it's like CJCR whatever supabase.co. So it looks like this. Yeah. So I asked the AI to help fix this, and it said, okay, it's something to do with Supabase, Google Auth, and my domain provider. So the AI gave me instructions. I followed the AI's instructions to the letter, and completely broke. So it turned into this new nightmare. One of my other beta users sent me this. It's like, hey, access block, this app's request is invalid. I don't know what the hell is happening at the point in time. Mr. Veteran came back, and he came in clutch once again. And he found a reason. He said, okay, The Google auth client IDs and client secret is different. I don't know what the hell happened. I must have been too exhausted, too tired to notice, but basically I copy pasted the wrong thing. So after that was fixed. So Mr. Veteran helped me the second time around when we managed to deploy again. So all the authentication issue is resolved. And I gotta say, I'm learning so many. I'm learning so many things. I'm learning many things that I didn't sign up for, but I'm learning many things nonetheless. And after that, Meet.Neo.app is live, and I spent the next couple of days just fixing a whole bunch of things. So we deployed with almost full phase 1 functionalities. The only thing that is left in terms of phase 1 is some UI issues that I'm not particularly happy with, some rack stuff and some internal backend stuff that I will need to learn. So I'm really happy where we're at right now. It's been 13th. Today is the 13th of January as of the time of recording. I started this Replit project I think on the 30th of December. So it's like 2 weeks. We've made so much progress. I made more progress than the entire year combined with Neo. And part of me wondering like, why the hell didn't I start this earlier? So I want to give you guys some lessons that I've learned. If you guys are interested in learning, and if you guys are divide coding by yourself, and maybe you guys are stuck as well. So I've observed like a number of things that I want to share about. Number one, right, is like one of the biggest challenges that I had was I didn't know how to articulate what I want. So it's like I didn't know that one of those pop-up thing that says, "Hey, deployment successful," whatever it's called. What is it called? Cheers. Cheers. I can't remember. Like it's one of those pop-up things, and I didn't know like something was called notification badges. I didn't know those terms. There are many terms that I didn't know. I can just like describe it, and that's the beauty of AI. The AI is not going to lose patience with you. So the solution here is that if you guys are facing issues with not knowing how to articulate what you want, just say it simply, even if it sounds crazy. And what I did that worked really well for me is to get the AI to repeat back to me what it thinks I want. So I literally would just say, "Hey, I want this and this and this. Tell me what you think I want." And then it will articulate on my behalf. And until now, even after like 2 weeks of working on this, like there's still so many terms that I am not learning, but I am learning progressively, and that's really great. So by doing this one, right, I'm making sure that we are aligned, and I get to hear from the AI what exactly it thinks I want, which means that if something is misaligned or if something is not really what I want, I get the opportunity to correct it, which is very, very, very important because many times AI misunderstands the problem. So as an example, there was one time where I was like, it's actually this part here. I mean, just go back to new chat. So like as an example over here, when I hover my mouse here, this box lights up. And when I click over here, this box turns black. This is exactly the way I want it to be. All right. And there was one time we spent 6 hours trying to get this make this work. 6 hours. Because every time I do this, I click on this, the box become light. It lighted up instead. It becomes like light gray in color, which is very ugly and it doesn't fit the theme, the feel that I'm looking for. And it also makes it very hard and confusing for people to understand too. So I spent 6 hours working on this, and until I asked the AI, okay, actually, confirm, tell me what you think the problem is. And they tell me, okay, the problem is that the box isn't lighting up. I'm like, what the? I told you dozens of times that I want it to darken, but for some reason the AI keeps thinking that I want it to light up. Very weird, very weird. And I told it dozens and dozens of times I want it to darken. I want it to darken when I click on it, and it just kept thinking that I want the other boxes to darken. So once it happens, the AI starts to, the moment the AI tell me that, I said, no, wrong, that's incorrect. That's not what I want. Then the AI said, oh, so that changes everything. I've been trying to adding more overlays to make it lighter and like making the problem worse and worse. So yeah, so like when you identify a problem with your app, don't just tell the AI to fix the problem, first tell it to confirm back to you what it thinks the problem is. Number 3, the AI likes to latch to one surface level problem and declare that it's found the root cause. And it drives me nuts because it would like, if let's say you find a bug, right? Maybe there's like 5 different layers to the problem, or maybe there's like 10 different contributing reasons to the problem. Maybe the entire code is broken or whatever not. It will find that one thing, which is the most obvious thing, and instead of like looking further, it would declare that that is the thing. So what I did was that I created a very comprehensive instruction to investigate all layers, and I forced it to thoroughly analyze the root cause and articulate it before fixing. So one example over here is that if I were to go to replit.md, I have it over here, replit.md, and go back to preview mode. So here is the cockroach protocol. First, confirm your understanding. So whenever I say cockroach, it will trigger the AI to read through this cockroach protocol, right? Number 1, confirm the understanding. Tell me what it thinks the problem is, and then use the architect tool to debug. Search across every single layer of the system that touches the symptom, critically evaluate. So then it's gonna come up with a list of plausible contributors to the problem, and then it's gonna work through it one by one. And then after that, it's gonna rule out through, what is the word I'm calling? I'm so tired right now. Rule out through deduction what is the things that is not possible to be the problem, until you find like they shortlisted like 2 to 3 one, and then we start from the most likely to the least likely. So without doing this, it's just gonna latch on to one after another. And the problem with doing that is that as it fixes one problem, it doesn't actually have memory. As it fixes one problem, it's gonna create another problem, and another problem, and another problem. So the more complex your project is, the more such technical debt starts to accumulate, which means that you're gonna have this problem and that problem, this problem, that, so it never ends up shipping. So yeah, the AI likes to latch onto one surface level problem and declare that it found its root cause. I literally make it a rule that you are never allowed to declare that you found the root cause. So I created a comprehensive instruction and force the AI to articulate it before fixing. Like forcing the AI to tell you what the thing is will force it to think. If you don't do this, it's gonna tell you that it has thought things through. God knows how many times it happened to me really, without actually thinking it through. So do that, all right? So when you're debugging, make sure that this an analogous document such as this is inside your working file, and make sure that the AI is going through it. And if you have a agent that has system instruction that you can configure the system instruction for, even better, do it. So number 4, AI forgets. AI forgets so often. So the problem here is that it has only 200K context window. And at any point in time when you're asking it to do one task, right, about 20 to 30K context window is consumed. So in about 10 turns or so, it will completely forgot what has happened before. So it uses this thing called context compression. Manus has recently started doing it. So your conversation has no limits. But every now and again, whenever your context reaches the limit, it will reset. It will summarize the entire conversation, and it will reset what is happening. So it knows more or less what is happening, but it forgets the important details and important nuances. So the problem with Replit is that you don't even know when it's gonna do so. So what is the solution? The solution is gotta keep documentation. If you look at me, it was like, under the CDX folder, there's architecture.md, crucial user requirement, Google Doc integration, instructions, Neo, all about Neo, onboarding tour, blah, 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 blah. There's like migration instructions here, migration roadmap here. There are roadmaps upon roadmaps upon roadmaps. There are like one major roadmap from Neo, and then this is one feature of Neo, and there's one roadmap for this feature. Like for my RAG architecture, there's like a roadmap for the RAG architecture too. There's a roadmap for Google integration. So that's what we do. We keep a very extensive, detailed roadmap, and we progress through the roadmap one micro step at a time. And if you don't do so, like it's gonna create and like while it's working on the one feature, it's gonna make amendments, changes to the code that destroys another feature, and you don't want that. So make sure that this happens. Observation. The fifth observation: AI likes to rush ahead. Rush ahead means what? Like, when I started coding vibe coding the landing page with Manus, I started with 25,000 credits, Manus credits. 15,000 of those credits were used to reverse changes. And I know that there are a rollback feature. You can roll back to a previous version. But the problem with rolling back is that it forgets certain context and whatever. Um, uh, and there are things that even though you roll back, it doesn't really solve the problem because it couldn't understand what you really want. And when you are letting the AI agent do its thing, right, it has a very real possibility of going rogue. It likes to interpret things. So like there was one time I asked the AI, like, why is it that I asked you to copy and paste this function exactly? There was one time I actually had to change Manus's chat. So like we did a certain progress, but it seems like the man is getting really, really confused, and there's nothing I can do or say that will get it to behave the way I want. So I thought, okay, the best way is to start over. That was the only option for me at the time. So I started over, and instead of making that one change, it just basically rewrote the entire page, completely undoing like 2 full days of work, and I had to roll back. Why? Because it doesn't copy and paste. It literally doesn't have that function. What it does is that it reads the code and it understands the intention behind the code, and it will interpret it in like it would go like, okay, this is how I think it should be. This is how I think it should be. So it's using predictive analysis. So you would do that, and in the process of interpreting, what ends up happening is that it comes up with all these rubbish stuff that you didn't even authorize it to do. So you ask it, you approve step 1. It will rush ahead and do 10 steps. So what I found to be very good for Replit is that Replit has this plan thing. You got to plan, right? So I put it on plan unless I'm ready for it to start executing. When I'm on build, when I first started, I was using agent tools. I was using low, medium, high, max. I found that the higher the autonomy, the worse it gets, because the more interpretation it tries to do. And if you don't have a particular standard, if you don't have a very clear vision of where you want an app to go, like doing that is fine. Or if your app is something very simple, then it's fine. But if you're trying to code something like Neo, it just doesn't work. Like it ends up undoing, especially because it doesn't have memory. It ends up undoing a lot of the cool things that it did. So I end up setting it back to low, and I've made more progress in low than I did with medium or high. So like that is the solution. Minimal autonomy is best. You want to keep a very, very tight control over the AI agent. You don't want it to let it just do its thing, because it's not gonna come back with things that it fits exactly what you want. So this is particularly for those people who have a clear vision, right? Next problem, next observation. Most problems that the AI cannot solve comes from that's for me. All right. When I first started, my tech stack was Google Auth, Supabase, and Vercel, and GitHub. Most of my deployment issues and code issues or whatever, it came from these things, and it drives me nuts. And it was part of the reason why I was actually on the way of rebuilding everything from scratch in Replit, until Mr. Veteran, the SaaS founder veteran who saved the app, came to me and said, Felix, maybe you are maybe like, what makes you think that starting from scratch won't cause you such issues again? And that made me pause. But even now, some part of me can't help but to think it might be even better to just rebuild everything from scratch, because inside the Replit environment, database is here, authentication is here, deployment is here, everything is here. If I need to change something about the database, I can just ask Replit agent to do it. And Replit agent is like, it is much more familiar with Replit stuff than it is with Supabase stuff, than it is with Vercel stuff, than it is with Google Auth stuff. Doing those things, like, it is so confusing to have to navigate Google Auth. It is so confusing for a non-technical person like me. Google Auth, Superbase, I had to learn so many things that, because right now I'm very willing to learn, but before this I was very unwilling to learn. So it was very hard for me to learn those things. Yeah, like even now, as I'm doing these things, as I'm recording this video, there are many things that I am doing that I wish I didn't have to do. So if I had to start all over again, I would have started from Replit, internal environment 100%, like everything all in one. I would choose platforms that has everything all in one. I don't want to have to deal with Superbase and Vercel and whatever not. And that's basically, I think, where the future of vibe coding is. Like, if anybody out there is building a vibe coding app, I think that is the way to go. Like, you got to build an all-in-one environment, because those of us who are doing vibe coding, we are not developers. We are not interested in like building something that is like instantly scales to 1 million people. We don't even think that is possible. What we are interested in is to get proof of concept, make sure the offer works. We want to make sure that people are actually buying the stuff, people are actually investing in investing and consuming in the app. That's what we're interested in. We want to get the first money coming in so that we can use the money to iterate. And right now, if we don't have an easy to execute whatever, I think Replit do it really well. I think that Replit is on the right direction. And I think that it is only possible when you have all of this environment all in one. So that is basically it. Like, if I had to do everything all over again, I would have started from Replit internal environment 100%. And most of all, which is my observation, my most important observation, the 10 days of failed deployment, the deployment hell, it came about because like I wasn't prioritizing ease. When we first started, right? When I had that developer, I was asking like, what is the easiest way? And developer didn't trust AI. The developer was like, okay, we're gonna use this, then this and that. And he said that, okay, AI can help, but AI can't do what I do. So me being the idiot that I was, like, just believed. And what happened was that we spent 10 months making absolutely zero progress. He has his own private matters to handle. He has his work to juggle and all of that shit. And he said, okay, we're gonna start with Superbase, Google Auth, and Vercel, because that's the easiest way. Because those things, like, you can just piece together those things. But it was too difficult and too technical even for me. And a lot of technical guys, like when I talked to them, they kept talking about scale. They kept talking about, okay, these things are good to start off with, but they always have the but. But what about scale? But what about scaling up? We don't care about that right now. Like right now, if nobody is paying us for our app, right, there is no scale. If we can't even secure 100 members, if we can't even secure 100 paying customers, how are we going to hope to get 1,000, 10,000? What are we building an infrastructure that is suitable for 10,000 for when we can't even get 100? So that is actually what's most important. We want to get something that is easy to start. We want to get something that can deploy immediately, very easy, very fast, speed to market. That is very, very important right now. So that is the biggest thing that I learned from this. Like, if I have to start all over again, start from an all-in-one environment 100%. And most of all, to do this cycle, like I spent 10 days because I was trying to build everything up. And when it's ready, then I deploy all at once. Why did I do so? Because AI advised me. That was a mistake. What I should have done is I should have done one very small feature, and then I test it. And if the feature works, I deploy immediately. Don't wait. And then add one more small feature, and I deploy immediately. Don't wait. And that's what I've been doing over the past few days. And in the past few days, like since I started on 30th, deployment hell ended on the 10th. For the past 4 days, right? This feels very polished now. Very polished. Why? Because I added one small thing, I tested it, I deployed immediately, and then I repeat again and again and again. So right now we are dealing with another bug, but that's not a big issue. We can solve it. And my main priority right now is to get the first 100 Neo users. Actually, I already have more than 100 Neo users, but I want the first 100 consistent Neo users who are using Neo as their main daily driver. Over Claude, over ChatGPT, over Gemini, they love this more than those apps. That is basically my number one most immediate priority right now. And in order to do that, I'm gonna fix the rack. I'm gonna fix the memory is perfect already. Like I'm gonna fix the rack. I'm gonna fix on all these other small little annoyances and here and there. So there you go. Like these are my top lessons over the past 2 weeks journey of vibe coding. I have never vibe coded before this. Like I don't know what I'm doing. I won't say that I know what I'm doing, but I'm learning very rapidly. I'm learning very fast, and I think as you follow along my journey, you will see me growing and see and benefit from the lessons that I'm learning because I'll be sharing it with you guys as well. So that is it for this week's Vidoc video documentary. I will give you guys updated as I go. That's all for now. And if you want to be notified, like and subscribe. See you then.